Please, can you able to, all of you can able to see this PDF? Yes? All of you can able to see the PDF? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, that is for a random process or a random event. Here, the probability, it is the basic knowledge. So that first we are defining some of the basic thing, especially your conditional probability. It is important, and some of the terms, so that we are going to revise this. And you also know that that is a universal set, and it is universal set containing all the possible components. Okay, and example here they have taken it as for the RC coupled amplifier. For the RC coupled amplifier, you know that that is the, if you have studied, that transistor will be there, and the so many, that is R1 R2 biasing resistor, emitter resistor, collector resistors, and the these are the capacitors. So the all those, that means in a circuit whatever all the components are there, that they are taken it as a sample space. For that particular circuit, it is a universal set. And example, and again they have divided the subset, yeah, all the resistors, all the capacitors, and the C, just the RE emitter capacitors, RC and RV, and two events. And event, it is what it is. Events means here this is the set A, B, and the C. And here the important thing is that is mutually exclusive events. Okay, mutually exclusive events means here, that means there should be a no common element. Example here, if I take the that resistance and the capacitor, there is no mutually, there is no common element, so it is called as a mutually exclusive set. Okay. And understood here, please you understand, here you concentrate on mutually exclusive set, because the further we are going to use it as mutually exclusive events. And then that is the, this is the symbol A union B, and you already know that, and the A intersection B, common elements you have to take, and the A complement, that also you know. And now you consider the, what is a random experiment. Okay, so what is random experiment? Here, that is example, consider the two input AND gate. Here, what is your output? Your output, it is deterministic. Now, can you tell me it is a random experiment or not? Hmm? AND gate output, it is a random experiment or not? Please write it in an chat box, yes or no. Only I am asking yes or no. It is a random experiment, yes or no? Tell me, yes or no. Please write it in a chat box. This might be your one of your quiz question also. The output of a AND gate is just any, we can ask anything, no? Yes? Is it a random experiment? Please think and answer. Random. Srinidhi Egde, I will ask the question. Yes, if the for a AND gate, if you are a AND gate, if I give the 1 and 1 as an input, what is your output? Srinidhi Egde. Yes, that is 1. If you give the that 0 and 1, what is your answer? Srinidhi, that is 0. Then, well, where it is random? You are telling the answer, no? If I, now you will ask the question, if I toss a coin, can you know the result, whether it will be a head or tail? No. Then, which is your random experiment? Now you tell me whether your AND gate output is a random or not, random experiment or not. Yes. No, it is not a random. I hope you have, all of you have understood that. Okay. So that is, here you are all, you know that is output in, you can predict the output. That is not the random experiment. It is called as a deterministic. If you don't able to know this thing, simply I am explaining, I am giving the example, don't blindly you tell. Please think and tell. Okay. So this is, you know the answer, that is what, if you know the input, what is the output you. But if I toss the coin, I can't predict whether it's the first time it's going to a head or tail. So it is random. Okay. It is just a common example. And example next, all the possible outcomes are known. The output of a particular repetition or trial is not possible to say or sure, then it is called as a random experiment. Otherwise, it is a deterministic. AND gate, it is a deterministic event. It is not a random event. Okay. So now what I am getting, this is some sample space. So what I am doing is, here I am selecting the, that is an event. This is a universal set CCCC. I will tell what is that CC and this. And A is not more than the 2 defectives. A, it is not more than 2 defective. That means I am selecting the ICs, and my event I am defining that such that I will not select the more than 2 defective. C means that is a correct IC, correct IC, correct IC, and correct IC. And here this is my universal phase. When I define the A, then this C, D, 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 this can't be a sample point of A, because there are the 3 defective ICs. Okay. So not, when I define the event A not more than 2 defective, that means it will include all the corrective IC, or all the that is possible is, that is 1 defective ICs. So that is all the, that is the CC and the CDD, all this combination I have taken, and that is not more than. So it may, if it may be, I can take it is equal to 2 also I will take. So that is a 2 defective IC, and this combination it is I am taking. I hope you have understood. Okay. And now, and when a die is thrown, so when the dice is thrown, so possible outcomes are, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is possible outcomes are, these are the outcomes, or it is called as a sample space. Please note the notation. It is like the sample space are the possible outcomes like this. When the 2 dice are thrown, how will you represent is x1 and x2, and I will write it as 1 less than x1 less than or equal to 6, and 1 less than or x2 is, because x2 is also a dice, and it is also vary between the 1 and the 6, any possible event. So if I write the sample space for this, this might be my sample space. First I see, first dice I am getting the phase 1, second also I am getting 1, first it is 1 and comma 2. I hope you understood this sample. Yes, any doubt in this now? I hope you have, all of you have understood that random experiment, meaning of random experiment. Okay. If any doubt, let me know now itself. Okay. So next, and here, that is each element of a sample space is also called, note down that is sample points, word, and the outcomes. Okay, A is equal to, these are the 2 samples, that is x1 and x2, such that it is x1 is greater than x2. It is an event. So that means here I should take such that, that is the first, there are the 2 dice are thrown. So such that I should select that is x1 is greater than x2. Can you tell me the one of the that samples point from this? Can you write this? X1 is greater than x2. One of the sample point, looking at this, can anybody can tell me? Yes, can anybody can tell me? Getting my point? Hello? Hello? Manoj Kumar Reddy? Hello? Okay, so now that is a sample space. If I defined this one, it is 2 comma 1, because that is x1, they have asked the x1 greater than x2. So that is 2 comma 1, 3 comma 1, or 3 comma 2, 4 comma. Here you can see that that is x1, it is greater than the this x2. Okay, next we will study the axioms of probability. Axioms of probability. Some of the important points here. Probability is a measure of associated with an event, because why it is like a quantitative measurement, and the some of the this probability, or the some of the rules are here, that is always probability lies between 0 and 1. and the probability of the whole sample space is equal to 1. And if it is no element, it is common. If it is A intersection of B is equal to pi, then there is no common element or it is a null set, then A and B can be called it as mutually exclusive event. This is also you can expect one of the, that is quiz question, like then mutually exclusive events, then what might be your A intersection of B? You should be able to tell it is a null set. Or it may be in, if it is then the probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus probability of B. Because when you add all this, there is no element in common. I will get the, that is a union of this. Okay, is if in the this one, what I suggest, no, if any axiom, if you are not able to recall in the exam, or what you can do is take an example, just an example like this, and you apply your rules. If it is A common B, and then what is probability of A union B. If it is not mutually exclusive events, then you take a element such that one element should be this one, and what should be, that is probability of A union of B. So then it will be easy for you to do this. Okay. Then A1 and A2 and AN are mutually exclusive events. Then it is all you, this is sigma of probability is equal to P of AI. This is what they have tell for the, it is extended for the N. And probability of complement is equal to, you know that is 1 minus probability of A. And probability of null set is equal to 0. Here, if it is probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus B minus of probability of A intersection B. Now, can you tell me what is the difference between this and this? You see, in this I am telling that probability of A union B is equal to probability of A plus PB. And here I am telling that probability of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection of B. Why this is added? What is the, how? Yes? Can anybody can justify this answer, or is anything wrong? Yes? Paul? Are you there? Paul? Prajwal? Prajwal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Prajwal, can you, because I am showing the 2x, this one, when I have to use this expression and when I have to use this expression. Be same this thing, no, left hand side is same, but right hand side it is different. When I have to use this and when I have to use this. Prajwal, don't know?
No, ma'am, I don't know.
Okay, anybody else knows? Yes? Yeah, Prajwal, listen here. This is Prajwal, listen here. This is explained to all. But yes, here there are the two mutual exclusive events, means here there is a no common set. If I use this for the two mutually exclusive events means what? There is no common element. Then the A intersection of B is equal to what then? It is 0. So it is always equal to, that is P of A. This expression, it is used for the non-mutually exclusive events. See, there are the common elements also there. So then that universal set it is given. If I round that is Venn diagram, just imagine a Venn diagram and there are the no common elements, then the whole your sample universal set is equal to P of A and the P of B. If it is common elements are there, then because already in one of the circle it is added, then I have to subtract that common element in order to get this P of A and the P of B and minus of this one. Understood, Prajwal? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I understood.
Okay. So please, whenever this type of the questions are there, please you assume the Venn diagram and take an example and do it properly. Okay. So now This is the next is a conditional probability. What I mean by conditional probability is probability of the event A knowing the, that is P of A, it is, you know that how it is defined, that is probability of event, it is knowing the space. And it is probability of conditional probability. Please you never make note of this, because this always we have been using this notation, P of A by B. There usually we will use the signal at P of xi bar y, something we will use like this. P of conditional probability, that is probability of event A knowing that B has occurred. So what is the probability of A such that it depends on the condition of the, that is probability of B that is occurred. So then the formula is probability of A conditional probability of A by B is probability of A union B divided by probability of B. The denominator is there, no? So that you have to take care. Please you remember this formula. If it is probability of B by A, then it is same thing, numerator will be same, A probability of A union B divided by probability of A. Please, if it is B by A or it is A by B, you have to remember the conditional probability. Okay, so we give any 4 answers like this and the quiz maybe. This is also one of the quiz question, because that is conditional probability. It is very, very important and you should know. Okay, so now that is the product rule. Now, it is, what is the product rule? It is P of A union B is equal to, if I use this, I can, that is cross multiply this. It is P of conditional probability of A by B into P of B. And similarly, if it is A union of B, for the same thing, if I use this B by A into P of A, that is numerator, if it is B of A is into P of A, here if B is there, that is denominator B is there, it is probability of B. Then the conditional A by B or conditional B by A. So here this is called as a joint probability, A union B, it is joint probability. And condition of this is called as a conditional probability, and this is probability of A and P of B, it is called as a marginal probability or a priori probability. A priori means already we know the probability of that event. Okay, or here it is conditional probability, or it is called as a posteriori probability, because this depends on the occurrence of the event on the other. Okay, so next is independent events. This is also important, because whenever in the problems we are using the word that is x and y are the 2 independent random variables. So then what you mean by that means, if A and B are called as independent events, if it satisfies this, probability of A union B is equal to individual probabilities, product of the individual probabilities. Similarly, we have studied that, that is for the PDF. We will see the what is the CDF and the PDF for the 2 random variables. Please so note that that is the independent events. So then if it is an independent event, then the occurrence of the one event does not depends on the occurrence of the another event. Then the probability of A by B is equal to, because A probability of A doesn't depends on B, then it is probability of A itself. Okay, and probability of B by A is equal to probability of B, when this is satisfied only when events A and B are independent. Otherwise, we have to go for this conditional probability, or it is also called as a Bayes theorem. Okay. Any doubt in this? Yes, any doubt? Okay. If any doubt, let me know. Otherwise, I will go further. Okay. Next is, this is for union. You know that that is P of A union B is equal to union. Oh, always one thing, it is union, it is plus. When it is intersection, it is product of the probability P of A B. A for probability of A intersection B is equal to probability of A B, and it is independent events. Then probability of A1 intersection of A2, it is individual product of the individual probabilities P of A1 into P of A2. This is also denoted as probability of, it is A1 into A2. It is also denoted like this. That means it is individual probabilities. And similarly, here, that is, if it is independent pairwise also happens. It is if of P of A1, A2 and A3, then it is P of A1, A2 and the A3. And if it is all pairs should be independent, then it is extended for the n probabilities. Next, it is Bayes theorem. Okay, the Bayes theorem, it is nothing but your conditional probability. What is that? It is probability of AI by B is equal to probability of AIB and the probability of B. You remember this, and probability of AIB is nothing but the probability of B by AI into probability of AI into divided, because probability of A union B and no, probability of A intersection. See this, probability of A intersection. Whenever the product is there, that is here, that is always you can remember that is the intersection. Probability of A by B is probability of A intersection of B, or you also denote it as product. Intersection, it is always product, and that is P of B. So then it is written as P of B by A into P of AI divided by P of B. Similarly, if it is P of AIB, I will replace this with this expression, and P of B, again I can use this expression, that is P of B by A of I individual events into probability of AI, and I is equal to 1 to n. This Bayes theorem, just you remember, if it is asked any problem, you have to use your appropriate equation and you have to write. And event, you know that what is a event is basically subset of sample space. Example, tossing a coin 3 times and head occurs 3 times as often as tail. So then the probability of H is equal to 3 times of the probability of the tail they have given. And the sample space is equal to 1, and that is probability of head is equal to 3 times more than the O, that is, it is, then we are defining it as 3 by 4 and it is 1 by 4. Okay, and that is here sample space is equal to 3 times HHH, HHT and HTH. Here these are all the sample space. When it is 3 coin, coin is tossed 3 times. And what is the probability of all the 3 heads occur? It is individual probabilities, that is P of H and P of H and P of H. It is 3 by 4 into 3 by 4 and 3 by 4. So you are going to get it as this one, 27 by 64. Similarly, you have to calculate all this. Okay. And is it now I will ask the question whether tossing a coin it is mutually exclusive event or not. Now you know already theory, and so think and tell me whether you type it yes or no, whether it is a mutually exclusive event or not. Type it and answer chat box. Others, please don't simply copy yes, yes or whatever one is telling. Please you think and tell me. It is you first you think that whether what is meant by mutually exclusive event. Then I am asking, tossing a coin is a mutually exclusive event or not? Yes, others, please specify whether. Surya?
Yes, ma'am.
Surya, I will ask the question. What do you mean by mutually exclusive events? What is the
Ma'am,
common?
A intersection B is equal to 0.
0. A intersection B is equal to 0. Then you satisfied for the whether it is applied for your head and tail. What is the probability of if I twice only once? So then your sample space is head and tail. Okay. What is the A intersection of B? Probability of A intersection of B. Here your event A is H and your event B is T. What is the this A intersection of B? Yes, Surya, I am asking you. 0. So now whether this condition is satisfied, mutually exclusive event?
Yes, ma'am.
Then so it is. Yes, it is occurrence of tail is independent of the that is occurrence of the obtaining. So it is mutually exclusive event. Okay. Good. Next. So now, this is probability 1. Now we will come to that random space. That is, I will share the one more PDF. I hope you can able to see this one. Yes, able to see this PDF. Hello. Please write or tell whether you can able to see the PDF. Okay, I will explain now. So now that is a single random variables. What do you mean by random variables? When it is called as a random variable. Okay, a random variable is a function that assigns a real number. Okay, then it is called as to each outcome in S, then it is denoted. Here that means whenever a real number is assigned to a random variable, then it is a random variable. If it is X, capital X, I am denoting as a random variable, and small x it is any real number. So you can remember that in the solving a problem or all that we are discussing, probability of or the PDF of capital X it is less than or equal to small x. So then what it is meaning is small x it is a real number and the capital X is a random variable. Whenever real number is assigned to a random variable, then it is a random variable xa. Okay. So now here you can see that this is a sample space. In the sample space, A and B and C are my sample points or the events. Then then this is a real time, that is a real time axis, real number axis, and A it is mapped to an xk, and the event B it is mapped to B, and it is event C it is also mapped to B. So then it is then S of x it is called as a range of sample space. Range of sample space here, can you tell me, that is real numbers xa and xb. I don't know if xa may be 1 or xb be 2, or it may be in 1 or 0. So your Sx is small xa into small xa and small xb, that is called as a range of Sx. And here you can, by looking at this figure, can you tell me it is many to one function or one to one function? Please type your answer. Many to one function or one to one function? Please look at this figure. B and C are both mapped to xb, A it is mapped to xa. Many to one function or one to one function? Many to one. So okay, so this is that here too it is many to one function, and because two or more sample events are also mapped to the same single variable. Okay, so here that we give an example of what is this example. If it is head and tail is your sample points, and here when will becomes a random variable is x of h, then that is I will assign a random variable, assign a real number 1 to this the x of h, then it is a random variable. Then x of t is equal to 0. This might not be an always 1 and 0. If I 100, x of t can be in 200. It may be in thousands or anything number. Whatever the number you want, you can assign any real number. Then it is a, whenever the real number is assigned, then it is called as a to an event, then it is called as a random variable. Even it may be in other ways also, it is true. I can for the occurrence of head, I can assign 0. For occurrence of head, it is 1. Why we are doing this is because we want to analyze quantitatively. We want to analyze quantitatively. That is why we are going to do this one. Okay. So now, events defined by the random variable, how it is defined, what is the this one. So now it is capital X is equal to small x is real number is equal to event, and the x of lambda, it is like an h or t. Example taking like this, x of lambda. Lambda is any event and x of lambda is equal to x. It is real number. Small x always represents real numbers. Also, it may not be an exactly equal. It may be an less than or equal or greater than, or it may be in between the conditional. This one also. This is between the x1 and x2. Okay. This is what the meaning, how to, that is events defined by the random variables. Okay. And they have given the this ICs. And if it is a non-defective IC, I will denote it as N. And if it is a defective IC, then I will take it as a defective. So if I am taking the 3 consecutive ICs, and which are my sample space is like this. All these possible combinations are there, and these are the sample points. See, next is, let x be a random variable such that indicates a defective items. Okay, then it is a defective item. So now it is x of s1 sample 1. If it is x of n, here it is x of n. That is nothing. It is a non-defective IC. So non-defective IC, since it is only possible, it is n. So it is non-defective IC. It is, that is, here it is no defective items, because I am defining this, it is a defective item. So I am assigning a real value of 0. Next is x of s2 and x of s3 and x of s5. So you can see that there is a one defective item. So here all these combination, I will give the real number 1. Similarly for the all others. See, here also you can see that many to 1 function. Now in this, can you tell me what is the range of the sample space? Yes, please, for this expression, for this example, please write it in a chat box. What is the range of the sample space in this case? Yes, Sx, I am asking. Yes, please write it fast. Hello, are you able to hear me? Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, can you tell me what is the range of the space here for this example? I am defining that is 0, 1, 2, 3 like this, and x of all the sample points. What is the range of sample space? Okay, I will show the one more diagram, and now you tell me. Here, yes, see here what I defined. Sx I am asking is from here to here on the real axis. It includes xa and xb. Now can you tell me what is the range of sample space in this case? Yes, Jaswant. Jaswant. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that is all that is whatever the range of the real numbers you have assigned, that will becomes your range space. Okay. So now that is SX, it is 0, 1, 2, 3. And similarly, one more example they have given. Let y be a random variable such that it indicates the number of defective items greater than 0. So if it is greater than 0, then I will get it as from this sample space, it is 0. And if it is otherwise it is 0. Here all these combination, I will get it as, if it is greater than or equal to 2, I will assign it as 1. Otherwise it is 0. So then my range space is only the 1 and 0. Okay. So this is similarly here in the axis. Now it is important for you for this one, that is a distribution function, or it is CDF and the PDF. So now if you are not understood before, please carefully. Now whenever real number is assigned, then it is a random variable. If probability it is assigned, then it is a distribution function or a cumulative distribution function. Probability is assigned. Whenever probability is applied on a random variable, then it is called as a cumulative distributive function. So now we will see that, and distribution function, it is defined by capital F of x. X is random variable and small x is, it is a real number. It is nothing but the probability of x occurrence of this event is less than or equal to x. This one, please understood this. Is any doubt in this expression? So one common thing you can remember is that whenever the probability it is applied, then it will become, the probability is applied on a random variable, then it is become a cumulative CDF. Yes, I hope you have understood this expression, and you have to remember this expression. And the properties of this CDF, it is always between the 0 and 1, and it is f of x of x1 is less than f of the cumulative distribution if it is x1 is less than x2. If a real number x1 is less than x2, then this probability CDF is also less than. And the limit as x tends to infinity, it is maximum value, it is 1, and x tends to minus infinity, it is 0. So now they have given the example. So I hope any doubt in the PDF? Yes, let me see. Yes, any doubt in the CDF? Because CDF and PDF, it is again and again we are using in the problems. So CDF, it is whenever the probability is applied, then it is a CDF. Okay. So in the experiment of tossing a coin 3 times, the sample space consists of these elements, and now I will apply, that is probability of x is equal to 2. Then it is called as a distribution function for this variable. Distribution means here whenever the probability is applied, so how your sample space is, how your probability, how it is distributed, that graph will give your CDF. Okay, if you represent that in a graph, that will give you your CDF. If you can see here, that is since the sample points are equally likely, here it is probability, it is 1 by 8, 1 by 8 and 1 by 8, so it is 3 by 8. Similarly, here it is x less than 2, probability of x less than 2. Here it is x should be defined whether it is a head occurrence of the head less than 2 or the tail. Here they have they have defined it. X is the number giving the number of heads. Then only I can able to write this, and I can write. Here see, I am writing this x is less than or equal to 0. This is a random variables I am defining, and I'm sample space I am defining. So when it will become the CDF is whenever the probability it is assigned, then only it is CDF. So so in words what I can say is how this random variable is distributed. So that gives them that is your CDF. Mathematically it is like this. Okay, I hope you have understood. If I write, if it is 0 and it is, that is 1 by 8. If it is x is less than or equal to 1, it is, if it is x is less than 0, it is 1 by 8, and x is less than or equal to 1, it is 1 by 2. It is like this. I am writing, that is 4 by 8, 7 by 8, and after that x is less than or equal to 3, it is always, it is 1, because the sample space is there, it is always, it is 1. So now can you tell me what is the probability of 1 here by looking at this, graph? So here actually this is till actually 0 to this 0.99999, it is 1 by 8, but at the 1, this minus this difference we have to take. That is the probability of 1. Okay. Now, what is understood or any doubt in this? Yes. Okay. I will go further. Next is discrete random variables, and we are going to define the probability mass function. Probability density PDF is for a continuous random variable, and PMF is a discrete random variable. Now we are going to define what is the meaning of discrete random variables and the probability mass function. Let x be a random variable with CDF f of x. CDF means how the random variable is distributed. So that is obtained with the probability. So if f of x changes values only in the jumps and is constant between the jumps, then x is called as a discrete random variable. See, it is, you can see the jumps and it is constant between the jumps. Then it is called as a discrete random variable. Okay. And now, alternatively, x is a discrete random only if its range contains finite or countably finite or countably infinite number of points. So example, what is countably infinite and finite, we will see through this example. Tossing a pair coin once, yes, you know the sample space. Tossing a pair coin twice, you will get the sample space like this. And if tossing a pair coin repeatedly and counting the number of tosses required until the first head appears. So then I don't know when this is coin, I repeatedly I will toss, but I don't know when the first head appears. Then it is example, if it is 1 and 2, these are countably finite. Example 3, it is countably infinite. Example for this, what is the meaning of countably infinite? When I don't know, but it is again still it is countable. Okay, so then that is the, or this is the, I hope you have understood the meaning of discrete random variable. Okay, next is probability mass function. Okay, probability mass function. Whenever it is probability, you should remember mass function for discrete, probability density function for continuous random variable. Okay, suppose that is actually how your random variable it is distributed. So that is what you are getting. Suppose that jumps in f of x of a discrete random variable x occurs at the point x1, x2 and x3. When the sequence may be either finite or countably infinite, we assume that it is x is less than, xi is less than xj, and then the CDF of f of xi minus CDF of x of I minus 1 is nothing but the probability of this equation, and this is nothing but the probability of x is equal to xi. Please you remember this one. Okay, because you are using this in the problem. What is the probability of p is equal to 2? Then what is the probability of p is equal to 2 means, here what I have to find out? Probability of p of 2 minus probability of, then minus probability of 1. That is probability of 2 minus probability of 1. What is this range? 4 by 8 minus 1 by 8. So you are going to get it as 3 by 8. That is nothing but the probability of x is equal to xi. Okay, probability of x is equal to xi. That is probability of 2. Again, if I to ask the your probability of 2, it is nothing but this minus this you are going to get. So you have to remember this one, because this you are going to use it for the your problems. Here also you have seen that is probability of x is equal to 2, it is 3 by 8, p of x is equal to 1. If I calculate like this, from the graph also I can calculate, that is nothing but the probability of x, and the probability of x is equal to 3. And now what is the properties of PMF? PMF, it is always positive. Okay, one thing it is, PMF, it is always positive, that is always greater than or equal to 0. So that is P of xi is greater than 0. And probability always varies between 0 and 1, or it is 0 and 1. And that is sigma of P of xi is equal to 1. Sum of all the this, it will give the all the events, probability of all the events, it will giving to a maximum value of equal to 1. And the CDF for a function of discrete random variable can be obtained by this equation. Okay, so the operator is this, equal has to be discrete, and operator has to be this one. For any PMF, for a discrete random variable, operator we are used is equals. Okay, then only it becomes a PMF. Here what are the PMF? Here for this one, this is CDF. For the PMF, if I take, it is only probability of x is equal to 1, probability of x is equal to 2, probability of x is equal to 0, 3, and before only at this point, only at this point jumps, then only it is PMF. Okay. Then if it is a step function, and also you know the, okay, next I will tell the, that is whether it is integration or the differentiation. Next is continuous random variable. What is the meaning of continuous random variable is, you know that is, you know the continuous example, what they are taking example in the real time is, find the sample space for the experiment of measuring the lifetime in hours of a transistor. Okay, clearly all the possible outcomes are all non-negative real numbers. That is, so we are going to define T, that is transistor lifetime, such that it is always T, it is vary between 0 and infinite. Okay, and where T represents the life of a transistor in hours, hence it is a sample, it is continuous, because time it is a continuous, we don't know. So that is why it is a continuous. So now the definition, it is continuous random variable. Let x be a random variable. So there exists a CDF with capital F of x, and if it is continuous, capital F of x is continuous and also has a derivative, and which exists every year except at possibly a finite number of points, and is piecewise continuous, then x is called as a continuous random variable. What do you mean by that is, you know the meaning of the continuous random variable. Okay, it should be continuous. What do you mean by piecewise continuous? Piecewise continuous means like this. Okay, I will share this. Yes, can you able to see this graph? Yes, it is piecewise continuous. See, this piece is continuous, and again it is not continuous. Again this piece is continuous, and this is not continuous. So this graph represents that is the meaning of the non-piece continuous. Oh, that is piecewise continuous. Okay. So next is next again. Next it is, in a continuous random variable, P of x is equal to x is meaningless. P of x is equal to probability of x is equal to, it is meaning, because it is continuous. But in a discrete, it is this P of x is equal to xi is nothing but your PMF. Okay, but here it is meaningless, and the probability density function, it is denoted by small f of x, and it is derivative of f of x. If this function it is given, you can able to get this, and that is PDF is the derivative of your CDF. That means here it is derived from the, your CDF represent how your random variable is distributed, and your the probability it is, then the probability density function, it is nothing but the derivative of your CDF function, or your CDF is a integration of your integration of this PDF. Okay, so now properties of PDF, it is always greater than 0, that means it is positive. And the summation, instead of summation, here it is for a continuous variable, so it is integration is always equal to 1, and it is f of x is a piecewise continuous, then it is probability of between, it is continuous between a and b, then we have to take the integration between a and b, f of x into dx. This is important, we are going to use it for the expectation and all this, we are going to find out. No, there it is x into f of x and all this. So here we have to remember. And the CDF can be obtained. This CDF, it is nothing but the your integration of your PDF. Okay, so this also important. Next is, if it is, what is the condition probability of a between x, the random variable between a and b. This is nothing but the your this how it is distributed, you will get it as, that is the integration of this f of x between the a and b. This is nothing but the CDF of f of b minus f of a. This also you are going to use it in the problems. This you have to remember, because the same thing we are going to use it for the problem. Okay, so next is plots of CDF and the PDF. These are the important problems. See, now they have given this x variable, and there what is the probability of, here instead of real numbers they have defined the xa and xb and xt, that might be anything. So in your real axis you are going to define as xa, xb and xc. And what is the probability of xa? It is 0.24, 0.32 and 0.44. Occurrence of this, it is, this event is 0.24, and total it is equal to 1. Now I have to draw the f of x CDF. In order to draw the CDF it is summation. So now it is 0.24. When I add this and this, it is 0.56. When I add this and this, it is, so total when I add this this and this, you are going to get it as 1.0. This and this like this, and this is 0.56 plus 0.44, you are going to get it as 1. Obviously you should get 1, otherwise you have made a mistake. Okay, so now I have to draw this. So my probability will varies on the y-axis 0.24, 0.6 and the 1. At xa, you have to define 0.24, and at xb it is, from here we are taking, so it is 0.36, but here xb it is only the 0.32, and here we have to define. If I define for a unit function, then it is, please note that for writing the unit step function, you have to take this probability, not this. Okay, that is probability of x into u of x minus xk, probability of xb into u of x minus xb, and probability of p of xc into u of x. You know in the signals and system how to draw that is a step function. So it is 0.24 u of x minus xp and the 0.32. Okay, so this is important, they will give the question like this. So we have to write the CDF. Next, if I write the PDF, okay, so if I write the PDF, it is nothing but the PDF, it is this is the derivative of your step function. What is the derivative of step function? That is nothing but your impulse function, you already know. So mathematically we will deal with this, and that is derivation of, that is example how we are going to write this is, that is sigma of p is equal to 1, or CDF it is equal to, you are going to write it as sigma of p of xi into u of x minus xi, and then it is derivative of this, derivative of u, it is nothing but the delta function, that is impulse function delta of x minus xp, and this delta exists only at the xa and xb and xc. So you will have the probability of 0.24, 0.32 and 0.44. This energy is, or this probability is this much. Actually it in a signal, it represents the amplitude of that signal. Okay, so similarly other problems they have given. Okay. In the next class, I will do this. In the next class also, you want the revision? Hello?